Wait. You
Yeah.
jumped into Boruto before Naruto?
Yes, it was the beginning of Boruto. What's a better time to get into Naruto than start with Boruto and then work backwards?
What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Casual Takes, and we are here with friend of the show, friend of the pod. We got Isaiah Senku. What's good, man? What's good?
Up? What's up,
Yo,
man?
Thank you so much for coming. Popular streamer on the streets, man. Specifically kicking YouTube.
I try.
We are here for one thing and one thing only. All right, the GOAT, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. That's the only way to describe it. The only way. There are a lot of people that don't know that Jojo's Bizarre Adventure is the second highest rated manga of all time, right behind Berserk. So fuck your One Piece, fuck your Monster, fuck your Hunter x Hunter. All right, this is some real shit. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, man. And of course, no announcement for part 7 yet adapted in anime, but they have to at this point, man. They have to, because the hype is real. Every time I go into the JoJo circles, everyone's like, part 7, Steel Ball Run, the greatest ever, and I cannot wait. But let me ask you, what made you decide to start JoJo's? Because as we know, JoJo's is not a beginner style anime. It is not something you just jump straight into without really knowing what it is, you know. So let me know. Let me hear what you got. How did you start?
You know, it's weird for me because it was actually one of the first anime I've ever watched. Like,
really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
like it's so weird. It was Dragon Ball, and then Fairy Tail, and then I think it was Boruto, and then JoJo's. So
wait. You jumped into Boruto before Naruto?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! You know what's crazy? You're the second person I know that did this, and I'm like, for the love of God, please watch Naruto. Holy shit!
I will. I promise you, I will. But the only reason why I started Boruto was simply because it was literally the first episode was out. It was the beginning of Boruto. So like, what's a better time to get into Naruto than start with Boruto and then work backwards? You know? And
okay.
I've been a fan since.
Okay. Well, to all my fellow Naruto fans,
I'm sorry.
Convince him to watch Naruto. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. JoJo's being one of your first anime is crazy to me. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. First time I watched JoJo's, I dropped it. I did not know what was happening. So what drew you into JoJo's when you first started watching? Like, did you like watch it all the way through the first time, or?
So what happened was I started obviously with part 1. For some reason, I'm kind of like the minority. I actually liked part 1 when I first watched it because I like vampires, and I like the whole process thing was amazing. But the point is, like, I got to part 1, and then I got to 2, I got to 3, and then I stopped for like a couple years because life and a bunch of stuff. And then I got back to part 4. And then I fell in love with part 4, part 5.
What is it? So when you first got into JoJo's, was part 1 was part 1 through 5 already adapted, or was like, I know some people started watching around like part 3 when it was like going on. Like, how much of it was adapted when you first started?
When I started, I heard that part 5 was being animated.
Okay.
So that's why, and I was like, "Ooh, part 5 looks cool." You know, Giorno, he looks great. So I was like, I gotta start from the beginning at that point. I didn't want to like jump straight into part 5, even though technically you could have if you really wanted to. But
man, no part skippers here. That's all I got. No part skippers here, man.
I'm the minority once again. Look, I think it's okay as long as you understand that you are going to not understand what's going on. If you're okay with that and you want to go into part 5 because you like the whole gang thing, you like Giorno and the whole story behind that, go for it. You know, but make sure you understand that you're not going to understand fully what's going on. So go back, watch the rest. But if you like part 5, you're probably going to like everything before that. Maybe not part 1, but you know, you'll be fine.
Okay, because I heard from manga readers that part 7 is probably the like when it came out, it was like the first JoJo's part to come out where you're like, you don't really need the like, you know, backstory for this part specifically. I know you said you've read part 7. Do you think that's true, that you really don't need the past parts to really understand Steel Ball Run?
Yeah, actually, I think you don't really need to. Yeah, they're right. Because I think the thing is, like, part 6 is a universe reset, right? I don't know I wouldn't consider that a spoiler because that's kind of the point.
Hey man, if you clicked on this video and you haven't seen JoJo's, I don't know what you're doing. Watch it, by the way. Watch it. All right. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Come back. All right. So so just go in.
Yeah. So basically, it's because part 6 is basically a universe reset. So technically, yes, you won't have to understand anything before part 7 to really understand part 7 or Steel Ball Run. But there are some things that I do feel like Araki kind of assumed that we already knew about stands, so he didn't really tell us everything about stands that he did beforehand. So there might be a couple bits and pieces that you won't understand, but overall, you don't need to. There's no like lineage you have to take care of or understand, so you're good. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing with JoJo's, right? Like I said earlier, I remember people liking JoJo's around the time I want to say like part 4 was going on. And so I was like, okay, I want to get into JoJo's because it's, kind of popping off right now. And I heard it's really like different and interesting. So I'm like, all right, let me get into it. Try to watch part 1. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy that I say this now. I thought it was ugly and real weird, and I was like, I don't get it. I think it was like episode 2 or 3. I was like, no, I can't do this. I just dropped it, right? And so like years went past, right? And so it wasn't until 2020 when I picked it back up during the pandemic. And what happened was in 2019, right before the pandemic, I got burnt out by anime, and I was like, nah. And I didn't like watch anime for I think like 6 to 8 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And then so pandemic happened, bored as hell, right? All I did was went to work, came back home. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. And I was like, man, I need something to do. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll give anime another chance. Maybe I missed something, or I should just watch something that I didn't like before and see if I like it now. That first anime I picked was JoJo's because it was readily on Netflix. Shout out to Netflix for this, but everything was right there. And I was like, all right. And I think part 5 just ended. I watched all of part 1, and I remembered it took me like 5 episodes to really get into part 1, where I'm like, okay, it's a little interesting, but I really don't understand the hype around this. And to this day, I still believe part 1 is the worst part. I think it's really hard to get into when you first get into JoJo's. Truly is. All right. And then I was like, all right, I got that over with, whatever. The good part about part 1 is that there's only 9 episodes. All right. Once you get over that,
exactly.
You go into one of the best parts, in my opinion, which is part 2. The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Joseph, man.
Joseph Joestar.
I mean,
he's him, bro.
Hey, granted, if you watch part 4, you realize, yeah, this guy's kind of a nasty dude. But hey, he's still goated in my eyes, man. He's still goated.
He's great.
Yeah. So part 2 happens. All right. And I'm like, okay, they're kind of going deeper into Hamon now, right? And they're facing like these demons or whatever, basically steroid vampires. And I'm like, all right. And it truly is getting used to the vibe of JoJo's for me. Like the vibe of JoJo's is so different, and it's like if you show someone that's an anime fan that doesn't know what JoJo's is and you show them JoJo's, they wouldn't believe it's anime. They'd be like, what the hell? Like it's so stylized, and it's like because people would tell me, man, anime recently in the modern times is getting so everything is seeming too similar, to the same design. Like you can tell who's the main character, you can tell that this is what anime looks like. JoJo's completely breaks that mold. All right, big, muscular, yet flamboyant men. Somehow, don't know how.
Amazing.
Like big and flamboyant. Don't know. Hey, man. Hey, that's crazy how they balance that out. But I will say this: I think the first 2 parts that kind of made it like kind of not peak JoJo's to me is the power system. I think Araki at that point, he didn't fully flesh out what Hamon really is, because yes, okay, so he explains like, oh, Hamon is like ripple, right? Okay, what the fuck is ripple? You're controlling your breathing and using light energy to fight vampires and monsters. And I'm like, that's not really a good explanation, Araki. Like, I don't really know where you're going with this, but okay, like, I guess, sure. Random bubbles come out because of ripple, sure, I guess. Like, I don't. But yeah, either way, great story. Great villains, great fights. Everything's cool with part 1 and 2. Then you get to part 3. All right, now I have a love-hate relationship with part 3. All right,
same.
I love stands, man. I love
Yeah.
stands so much. I think it's one of the best power systems ever created in anime. I truly
Mhm.
believe that. But man, too many stands are thrown at you all at once in part 3.
Yeah.
Like, have you
They
if you
did.
notice if you look up the Wikipedia of like the amount of stands that are in JoJo's, half of them are in part 3. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like,
It's
it's
crazy.
ridiculous. And I don't remember like a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
Some of them are just crazy one-offs, unless you're that one weird baby with like the dream thing. You know what I mean? Unless you're that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that
I
was
think I remember it.
crazy. The dude with the video game too, that was crazy with
I
the
love that
baseball.
stand.
That
That's
stand is crazy.
that's one of my
Like,
favorite stands. It's so cool.
I think a very underrated one is that gambling one, the poker one. I think that's a
Yes,
very
the
underrated
brothers.
one. Yeah, the
Both
two
of them
brothers. Yeah, both of them are
amazing.
crazy.
That whole arc when they
Mhm.
was fighting like the minions and stuff, like the
Yeah.
Darby brothers.
Mhm.
Like I didn't like Jotaro. I really didn't enjoy Jotaro in part 3, but those two fights really sold home like, oh yeah, Jotaro, he's him. Like
He's
I
that
get it.
guy.
He's
He's
that
that
guy.
guy.
I get it now. Like
Yeah, I used to think Jotaro's stand was so basic. I'm like,
same,
all right,
yeah.
bro, it's just okay, strength, okay, strength and
Wow.
speed, cool. But then once you really get to the later parts, like I think peak part 3 truly is when they step into Egypt. All right,
Mm-hmm.
when they
Yep.
touch down to Egypt, that's when part
Shit
3
gets
really
hectic
just
fast.
yeah, it like it go. You know, it's crazy how the pacing before they went to Egypt and after they went to Egypt is so different because before they go into Egypt, this is my biggest problem with part 3. The pacing is all over the
Like,
place.
yeah.
Like it's a snooze fest for like 10 episodes straight. And I'm like, bruh,
Mhm.
can we just get to Egypt already and fight Dio? But the best parts of part 3 is truly the fights and the investigating that all happens in part 3. A lot of the lore happens in Egypt. All right.
Yes, yeah.
And part 3, I truly believe, is the hub of where JoJo's explodes. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone
Mhm.
falls in love with JoJo's towards the end of part 3. That panel with Dio and Jotaro coming at each other is so iconic at this point. Like, the
Amazing.
memes were everywhere, man. Like, and
Yeah.
part 3 is the start of really the memes of JoJo's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. It's so cool. I
Yeah,
love
and
that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted to get into JoJo's to understand the memes. All right, I'm not gonna lie. That I was like,
Lucky
I need
same.
to, yeah, like I need to know what this is in context. Like, why the fuck
Mhm.
is he like diddling a cherry? Like, what the fuck is that?
Right, like
Like,
what is Kakyoin doing? Actually, to this day, I still don't understand why he even did that in the first place. It was like I don't think they had an actual like reason why Kakyoin was sitting here like I don't
like
know,
just
like
like tonguing a cherry for no like in
it's
context.
so
It's
weird.
like in context, it still makes no sense. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Exactly.
bro.
That's the JoJo's though. That's what JoJo's like. You try to
Oh
understand the
man.
lore or try to understand these memes, and it's just like you watching it, and it's like, okay, I get why, but why though? Like,
Yeah, I was like, but okay,
okay, sure,
all
why
right.
not? All right, Rocky, do whatever, man. Like,
I will
it's
give a
so
Rocky
funny.
this. He gives us iconic moments. Like literally,
Yes.
like there's so many memorable moments in JoJo's. But yeah, part 3 towards the end it was great, but the beginning is kind of rough to get through. So,
Yeah.
but part 4, man,
Whew.
when I tell
That
you the story just opens up, and it's
epic.
crazy that it goes from like large scale Egypt and the world to small scale
Mhm.
this one town. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Morio, like you don't leave Morio like the
Mhm.
whole time in part 4. Yet to me, like story wise, still my favorite part in the anime. I
Yeah.
think like
Without a doubt. Yeah.
like part 4, it's like, you know, sure, you have to kind of get through the episodic aspects of it in the beginning,
Mhm.
but when you realize that all those episodic episodes truly matter because they all connect back to the real story, which is we need to stop Kiryoshikage,
Mhm.
you realize all those characters matter. Like
Yep.
like that one-off episode where you're like, why am I fighting this lady that changes like faces and stuff? Like, this is stupid. And then
Mhm.
you realize it comes back around to Kiryoshikage using her. Oh shit, my camera's fucked. How did you feel about part 4 when it like changed at first? Like like it completely changed like the format of it being more like a slice of life type show instead
Mhm.
of it being like this big shonen. Like, what'd you think of that?
Part 4 was when I realized like Araki knows how to make a good fucking story. Like this, like that's when I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it, Araki. You can do. He's a man of many talents. I'll say that. So like
Yes.
him being able to do what he did for part 1 through 3, and then condense small scale story the way he did, like the juxtaposition between 3 and 4 is huge. And he was just like, yeah, I fuck it. I'm just gonna do it in a small town Mario, this random Joestar that we had no idea existed until now, right? So
yeah, and Josuke is the bastard child of the Joestar family. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't supposed to exist, but he did, and he proved himself to like, hey, I might not like my dad, and I'm not really connected to this family like that, but I'm gonna prove that I'm just as him as the others before me. You know what I mean?
He look, they
man.
They had. I mean, that makes sense, right? They kind of had to like he wasn't like you say, he wasn't directly tied to the family, but like he still has the Joestar-ism about him,
Yes.
right? He got it from Joseph, the main Joestar, right?
Right. Yes.
So like it's beautiful. I love Josuke with all my heart. He's like, I don't know, man. He itches a scratch that I haven't really had about for a personality wise. Like he's such a cool character. So like he's
Oh, I was just gonna say, and it's funny when like Jotaro first meets him for the first time in part 4, and he's like, this guy's supposed to be my uncle? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like this guy's my uncle, and and Josuke's all like, what the fuck are you looking at? And then he's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's my grandfather's son, all right. Okay.
Yep.
Like,
that's true.
I think one of my favorite episodes in part 4 is still that one-off episode where him and Okiyatsu go into the Italian restaurant, and like all that shit is happening to them, where he's like, yo, why am I crying? Or like, what is happening to me? And it's like still one of the funniest episodes I've seen, man. Like that episode sticks out so much.
It's a great episode. Yeah, no, it's definitely like part 4 has some of the, at least for me, some of like the most funniest parts. Obviously part 2 is hilarious, but like I think it's a different type of comedy. It's a different type of comedy between part 4 and part 2, but it's the same vibe. I just like the way they did the comedy in part 4. It was very much like wacky. It didn't make it made sense, but it doesn't make sense outside of context, which is pretty much, I honestly think that's probably where most of that meme came from, about like out of context shit that happens, but it makes sense. It makes sense in the universe. It's just like, wait, so he just eats a piece of bread, and this bread is making him scratch, and all of his skin is peeled. What is going on?
And then his skin gets better afterwards, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what?
No, it's just his it's just a stand ability. Don't worry about it. Like,
yeah, and it's such a great and that's all the beginning of part 4. It's such a great contrast to the dark version of part 4 that comes later on, which is the second half, and you don't even meet the big bad until the second half of part 4, which is Kiryu Shikage, who in my opinion is one of the greatest anime villains of all time, because it's so, you're a good writer when you can make a simple villain with simple wants but still be so aggravating, and you still want to be taken down. Like Kiryu Shikage just wanted a normal life and to be by himself. But one, the one negative is that he has a weird hand fetish, and he just happens to kill women, take their hand, and he keeps it in his pocket and sniffs it every now and then. Like, imagine if Kira didn't have that one fetish, he would literally just be a normal dude. But that that one aspect literally makes it so, all right, fuck this guy. We got to beat him. And it's like, man, and the fact that the reason why he even gets into battle with Joseph, Okiyatsu, Koichi, and Jotaro is the fact that he got caught. Like he got caught, and they wanted to bring him down, and he's like, no, I have to kill these guys so I could go back to my normal life.
Yeah, he was forced to that point. He didn't. This is not like, he really was like, I don't want to fight you guys. I don't want to do this. I just want to do my thing. And they was like, nah, bro, you're killing people. You realize this, right? Like, he was like, what do you mean? This is normal. This is just I just want to live my life, bro. So it's a beautiful beautiful story, and very very morbid story too. It's just
Yeah.
it just hits all the right buttons. It's beautiful, man.
And I think that's the first time where well, okay, technically Jotaro has a stand with multiple abilities, but this is the first time in a while. We thought Jotaro was just the GOAT, but apparently your stand can have multiple abilities. And we won't know about it because if you guys don't know how stands work, it's only stand users can see stands. All right. So if you're a normal, regular person, you are not going to see these stands at all. So you don't know what's happening. And second is, for the most part, there are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, whoever knows the most about each other's stand abilities wins. It's usually whoever has the most knowledge. You know what I mean? Which is why going back to part 3, why the Jojo crew is like fighting like up. Like they're still like scratching and clawing and trying to keep up because all these stand users that are coming at them, pause if needed, are just, they already know what their stand abilities are because they were told through Dio. You know what I mean? And I can't believe we skipped Dio, but Dio is one of the craziest dudes ever. Let me tell you about Dio. All right, while we're on this, right? Dio is the main antagonist of JoJo's. All right, he is the antagonist of JoJo's, and you know, people on the surface want to be dumb and say he's evil just for the sake of being evil. And I say, no, you're stupid. Because if you paid attention in part 1, his father is a deadbeat. All right. His father was poor. He's trying to scam people into their money so that he can get rich and get himself out of the slums. And Dio felt like, I don't deserve this life. Why am I being punished for this man's, you know, downfall? You know what I mean? My father is the reason why I'm poor and living in the slums, you know? And his father comes up to Dio and is like, you got to help me. You got to make sure to get us out because you're the only way I could get out of this now. And Dio's like, I'm going to get out, but not you, and fucking kills his dad. I'm like, bruh, what? That is crazy. And then he infiltrates the Joestar family, being adopted by them, being raised like them, being basically their second son, while shitting on Jonathan Joestar. The start of this, he basically started a war between Dio and the Joestar family. All right.
And the hatred runs deep.
It runs deep. He hates how unfair life is, and he hates how, oh, why is the Joestar family so rich and so well off while my family just has to suffer because of inequality in this world or whatever like that. Like, if you really look into Dio, he's way more deep than that. And you need to look into that because I think Dio, well, now Dio's just doing it for revenge at this point because Jonathan just destroyed anything he wanted because, like, hey, Jonathan has to be that perfect, you know, protagonist that's just like, hey, I'm a stop your plans because what you're doing is wrong, which it is. But hey, he got into his plan and ends up killing Dio. All right. Yeah, because as you will find out, you know, throughout all the parts, Dio can't be killed. Like, this man, you think he dies, and then you're like, nope, he's back. And he always has a reason to be back. You know what I mean?
That's true, man. Good old Dio, bro. Like, he's a fascinating character. I think, like, to your point, I think it's interesting that he started out that way, obviously, because he hated the way Jonathan's life was. He wanted that, but his life was not geared towards that in any way. And then obviously, like, also think it's a mixture. I think for me, Dio is a mixture of multiple things. He's obviously spiteful. He obviously, like, hates the fact that his life was this shitty, but at the same time, he's also psychopathic. So and then his dad probably was also possibly psychopathic as well. And he also has a god complex, which kind of adds to the psychopath. And then it's just, there's so many things about Dio that has led him to this point to where now he has this ability where he can just become a vampire and he's like, oh my God, I'm him. What the fuck?
Right.
You can't tell me shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he just kind of just blossomed to just become, you know what? Yeah. At first, I just wanted to kill you, Jonathan, but now I'm just actually going to just terrorize your bloodline because fuck you. That's why.
Yeah.
So
Because fuck you, and like, you know what? Now that I'm immortal, and oh, by the way, Dio ends up being a part of the Joestar family because he takes over Jonathan's body. All right, he's like, if you think I can't be a Joestar, nah, I'm gonna take your body and be a Joestar and force myself onto this family bloodline. That's how crazy he is, and that's much he despises the Joestar family. Like he literally fights every single iteration of that generation's Joestar. Don't matter who it is. It's crazy. I think Dio really doesn't get the respect he deserves as being one of the greatest villains. He's not my favorite antagonist in the JoJo's world as of right now. That could change. But he's still one of the GOATs. Like he truly is one of the greatest. I think what makes Kira more compelling than Dio to me is Kira, for one, has a really fascinating stand that I think isn't just I'm a stop time. You know what I mean? Like it's like multiple different things that don't seem that crazy on the surface, but the way he utilizes them in the way he does is crazy good. He's able to fight off 2 Joestars, on top of that, 2 extra stand users. You're like, bruh, how?
Man, he's efficient. That's the thing I love about Kira. He's very efficient in what he does. Even when he's fighting multiple people, he's able to like quickly realize like when he took over that other guy's family. Hayate, I think is the brother, the son. He took over the family, right? He didn't have to do it at the level that he did, but he was efficient enough to understand that, look, this is a kid I'm gonna have to like figure out how to raise now. So if he finds out that his dad is not actually his dad, that's going to be a problem. So what am I going to do? I'm going to actively make sure that this kid cannot tell anybody at all, just from the jump. Like,
man, just... and he's not like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. No, he's like, I'm gonna put this guy in an infinite time loop so that until he feels helpless to where he can't do anything. That's how crazy he is, man. I'm like, put him in a kid feels helpless because he's in an infinite time loop, bro. I'm like, yo, this guy's crazy. Bite the dust is still one of the most insane abilities I've ever seen. Like,
crazy. Yeah, like honestly, and man, you know, it's funny because like it only the shit only gets crazier from here. That's the thing I love about JoJo's, bro. You think Bites the Dust is crazy, bro? Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Oh,
Valentine, that nigga's ability is scary. It's crazy. And then you get into Johnny. You'll know when Speedball Run comes out. But man, Johnny.
I've heard, man. I heard Johnny
versus Valentine. That shit hit. Even in manga form, that shit was insane. I was like, "Fuck is going on?" It's crazy.
How do you feel about the music references? I think Araki started putting music references after part 2. So during like part 3 and onward, he started doing music references like Boys to Man, Vanilla Ice, Earth, Wind and Fire, Red Hot Chili Pepper. Like, how do you feel about that?
I love it. Honestly, it's so cool. I love it when power systems lend themselves to be open and broad enough. Open and broad enough to where like if I myself want to put myself in this universe, I can figure out a way to get myself an ability or a stand ability. Jujutsu Kaisen, I can have my own power, or like Hunter x Hunter. You know what I mean? Like it opens up a lot of possibilities, and I think Araki keeps it broad enough. Yeah, just like what's his name? I forgot the name for Hunter x Hunter, but the guy
Togashi. Togashi.
Yeah, Togashi is the same thing. Where it's like that's an actual good power system, in my opinion. Yeah, but like when you're able to keep it going for such a long time, that it obviously works for you, right? Right. And it works for other people because they can make spin-offs and they can like make their own fanfics and whatever, And like speaking of that, I have my own fanfic that I've written. I'm not finished writing it, but I have written my own JoJo's fanfic of a forgotten Joestar, and I think it's kind of I think it's all right, but
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, I was gonna say the rumor is that Araki, all he does is write JoJo's because for starters, JoJo's been going on since the 80s, guys. It was serializing at the same time Dragon Ball was. That's how old it is. Like the OG Dragon Ball. So people are like, oh, the reason why Araki has all these like music references is because all he could do is write and listen to music, and that's it. So he's like, I got no other way. Like he's got, hey, all I'm doing is listening to music and writing anyway. I might as well put the music references in my own manga. You know what I mean? Which I think is pretty interesting. Because you can clearly tell what he's thinking of based on when he wrote each part. I mean, in part 6, he has a character called Foo Fighters. Like, that's how you know that he's straight up listening to certain things at certain times.
He loves bands. He really loves like good
bands. Yeah.
You know, like that's which I think is base as fuck, to be honest, because he could have easily did like a shit ton of like, you know, like rappers. He could have done a shit ton of like only like he could have did only Japanese artists. He didn't have to do, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have to do Western. But I think it's a good idea that he did do Western. That way it kind of keeps it broad that everybody understands. You know what I mean? Because he could have did like make a stand called Creepy Nuts if he wanted to. But Creepy Nuts is a great band, but it's like nobody knows who Creepy Nuts is unless you watch MASH. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, for God's sake, there's a stand called Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, come on, man. Like, and I think that's what I love about Araki so much is that he embraces the Western art form so much. Like, if you can't tell, Araki's artwork and ideas are very influenced by Western media. You know, I think Araki's like been on record to say like he reads like comic books or like he's into like the Western superheroes and stuff like that, like DC and Marvel. So he draws inspiration from that, as well as he listens to a bunch of foreign music to him, which is like all the Western, American, British, whatever music. And so he puts that into his art form. And you can tell how much he loves all of the media that he consumes because of JoJo's. Like, it's straight up like a love letter to Western media, it feels like. You know what I mean? And in part 7, hey, we go back to Western Times America, which is going to be super interesting.
Great.
Real interesting.
Honestly, man. Bro, part 7 is going to... I swear, I think I said this on Discord, but like when part 7 drops, bro, I promise you, I'm pretty sure it's going to break like Crunchyroll servers, like at least for a little bit. Like it's going to be insane.
It
like,
should.
It better. I feel like it's only right. Like Netflix too. I think Netflix has rights to it too. So
Netflix has the rights to it. Well, we'll see what happens, but I hope they do a good job of releasing Steel Ball Run, because it'll be a travesty if they fuck
up the scheduling of Steel Ball Run like they did part 6. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be so mad, bro.
I'm gonna be mad,
bro. It was so bad because part 6, like they did not like time it out right at all.
They didn't even hype it up like that. You know what I mean? Didn't. Like they didn't really. You know?
Oh yeah, by the way, JoJo's like to me. By the way,
what you mean? What are you talking about, dude? You mean like part like okay? This is a great segue into part 5.
Okay,
because part 5, that shit was everywhere. Like all of the like literally, part 5 was hyped up so much. I mean, well, also it was releasing during the pandemic, right? So people were like, it was like, I think it was like at the beginning of pandemic, I'm pretty sure. So, but before pandemic, you know, there was a lot of hype around it, but it still continued onto 2020 because literally like 2020, I was seeing a bunch of like memes about part 5, a bunch of music references to part 5. Giorno's theme is still being played today as the JoJo's theme, you know? You know what I mean?
that is pretty much the theme. It is so interesting.
Right. Like I remember watching TikToks at the time of like people, like it was around like the Black Lives Matter movement where people were like breaking into stores, and I saw this TikTok of a guy breaking into a store during a Black Lives Matter rally, and he was playing on the piano of the store he just broke into the Giorno's theme, and I'm like, bruh, what the heck? This is crazy. Like
that's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like when it comes to like the music of JoJo's, like it's definitely part 5 has some of the best music. Like it's insane
by far.
It's beautiful. But part 2 is my personal favorite, but part 5, when it comes to like straight up just like the quality
Mhm.
of music is insane. Like fuck, dude. Like part 6, like it sucks because part 6 is great. I love the intro of part 6, but it's good, bro.
The
It kind of like
Yeah,
doesn't
I
feel
feel you.
as good. You know, it feels a little, you know.
I like the artwork of the opening of part 6, specifically the first one, like where it's like all colorful and it like kind of pans out to like all the girls and stuff in the bus. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was really cool. I like the artwork, but when it comes to music, part 5 had it on lock. Like
Had it.
it was so good. I will say this: Giorno
Mhm.
might be one of my least favorite JoJos. No
Mhm.
offense, but he
Yeah.
was very bland compared to Josuke and Jotaro and Joseph. You know what I mean? He's not as
Yeah.
bland as Jonathan. You know, Jonathan's super bland.
Yeah.
But the whole
He is his
cast.
son, technically.
Oh, that's true.
He is
That is
Jonathan's
true.
son.
Hey,
So
so for you guys that don't know, it's complicated.
yeah.
Giorno is the son of Jonathan and Dio. Hey, you're gonna have to just watch it to find out why.
Yeah.
But
It's yeah. It's
it's
complicated.
crazy. It is complicated, man.
Yeah.
He is Jonathan and Dio's son.
Yeah. I
But
made a
yeah.
video about that too. Giorno, like as a
Mhm.
character, sorry, but like as a character, I think Giorno is very much like a like people. I was part of the group that was said like hey, he's kind of boring. But if you like take the time to try to really understand part 5, like you really can like see. I get it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
get it. I get why he's like this. I understand it. It's just that compared to the other JoJos, he's very much like kind of one note. You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
get it because he's Italian technically, so like
Mhm.
I half Italian, but like you know I get it. I understand. It's just it's
Mhm.
not. But the whole story, but the whole like part 5 in general is a great time. I
Oh,
genuinely
it
enjoy
is.
watching part 5. It just feels like JoJo. The JoJo in that part was kind of lackluster.
The whole squad is memorable though. Well, besides
Mhm.
Fugo, that dude's like
Nah, I
he
love
had
Fugo. I'm not gonna lie.
Like Fugo, man. I just wish they I wish they utilize him better. I don't know, man. Like they
Yeah,
really did him dirty. But the whole squad, the whole Passione squad, man.
beautiful.
Bro, Abakio, Narangsha,
Hey,
Mista, Bucciarati, like all of them
yeah.
were so memorable and so
There's
good, man. I was like that whole
yeah.
squad. I'm like, man, I wish I had a squad like that. That's crazy,
Facts.
man.
That's why I say. That's why a part of it in the video that mentioned, like, that's why I say part of the reason why Part 5 works so well for me is simply because the squad that Giorno is around is
Hmm.
so vibrant and interesting. So by proxy, it kind of makes him have to be more interesting, right? But
Hmm.
him by himself, actually, you know what's funny? Because I said by himself, he was actually more interesting to watch than with the squad because the
Yeah.
squad was so interesting to the point where it's obvious that he isn't as interesting, you
Right.
know. But watching him fight other people, like he fought that gang guy, I forgot the guy with the shovel. He's fought that
Yes.
guy
Yes. Yes.
before he met Passione, and I was like, I was having a good time. It was actually interesting to watch him fight. It was just once he got into the group, I was like, okay, so this is kind of like this the it feels like the attention was taken away from Giorno and focused on more of the group dynamic than Giorno himself, which is fine. I mean, it works.
Yeah. It's fine because like it's a nice change of pace to have it mostly like a team based thing.
Yeah.
And I watched a YouTube video on this actually where they took all the Joe stars at the time, which is just Jonathan through Jorno,
Mm.
and I think what they said was they counted the amount of one-on-one fights each JoJo has won by themselves.
Mm.
And out of all of them, Giorno won the least amount of one-on-one fights. I think they said
Okay.
like most of Giorno's wins were in a group setting where he was with someone. I think
Mm-hmm.
they said it was either Giorno only won, I think, one or two fights by himself. I think that's what they said. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And like all the other Joe stars, like comparatively, won like dozens of fights by themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
it was super interesting to see, like, yeah, part 5 truly embraced teamwork out of all the different parts. I think even Jolene won way more one-on-one fights.
Yeah, she had more chances to fight people one on one than Jorno did
Yeah.
because Jorno, like you said, like in the beginning, yeah, he was alone because he just got into the whole gang thing. He was just trying to figure it out, and then he got part of the Passione because he got put in jail and the whole shit. So I think that is it is interesting that he hasn't fought many one on ones. And one of the ones he did fight, I think one of the 2 fights he did fight by himself was against Koichi, which doesn't even count really
It
because
doesn't count.
he
Yeah.
wasn't trying to kill him. Like he was
Right.
just give me my suitcase back. What the fuck? Like that's
Right.
it. So
That's kind of it.
yeah, I wish Koichi was in the show more too.
Yeah, they really like. I think Jotaro and Koichi were literally only there for like an episode or 2, and that's it.
Yeah, that was pretty much a couple scenes, and it was like, I want to see Koichi with Giorno. I think that'd be great.
Okay, so a couple things I'm gonna ask you. All right, about part 5. So, did you like the fact? Huge spoilers for part 5, but did you like the fact that towards the end of part 5, they were kind of killing off each member of Passione one at a time? Like, did you felt like that was necessary, or did you feel like they're kind of doing too much with that? Because I was a little, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little sad when I saw that, yeah, Giorno finally became the boss, but then I only saw Mista with him. I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks. How did you feel about that?
It does suck. I think when I say suck, I think it's just sad. You know, it's not like it's like horrible writing. I just think it's one of those things where you know, when I was watching it, I was like, man, this shit. I didn't think the gang shit got this real. This shit got real. Like
real gang shit for real.
They
like
were
actually,
people, like dead ass characters were dying, and I was like, oh my god. Bro, Diavolo is not taking anything. He doesn't care, bro. He does not.
Diavolo did not give a shit. The main antagonist for part 5 was ridiculous,
bro. He was like, and to this day, I made a video about this too. I was like, to this day, I still believe that the way that Diavolo got dealt with in the end, I think that was too far. I think they took it too far. Personally, I think Toronto took it too far.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But another question I want to ask you was, how did you feel about when they brought back Polonarv? Like, how did you feel about that? Like, did you think like, oh, that was a cool cameo, you know, hey, it was good, or did you think like, man, he really didn't do shit, like, or like, you know, how did you feel
personally? I enjoyed it. I love Polnareff. I think Polnareff is one of my favorite characters in part 3. So seeing him again was like, my boy. Let's go, dude. You know,
a cool connection to the OG squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And going back to how Diavolo was dealt, did you feel like when Araki wrote Golden Experience Requiem, did you think like that was too, like, to me, Golden Experience Requiem is still one of, if not the most overpowered ability I've ever seen. Like, literally, for you guys to, you know, just to explain what the power is, literally, it's just whatever you do, counter that, regardless of what you're thinking. Counter that regardless. I will put you in a loop of like nightmarish type dreams or whatever. Like, it's like, bro,
you would die constantly. It was like, I don't know, man. That
like, did you think like Araki like kind of just wrote himself into a corner and was just like, I guess I'm gonna just do this, whatever? Like, what like,
I think so, because that's the problem with, that's the issue. Like, it's not even, I won't even say it's Araki's fault per se. I just think that there's this problem in writing in general when it comes to like writing a character with an ability. When you start to put time powers into shit, it complicates the whole situation. Right. Anytime any character has a time ability, you are now adding the level of time itself to be rewritten, right, and to be changed. So then, like, for example, Dio was stop time, right?
Right, so, for like 3 seconds or something like that.
3 seconds. Sometimes it got longer, depending on. I know Jojo's got longer too. Yeah. But like the point is like that's simpler, right? But the problem is like I think the term is power creep, pretty much. The point where you have to get stronger, faster, cooler characters, cooler stands. So then you're gonna end up with other characters like Diavolo with time powers. How can you stop that? Oh, use time powers probably to defeat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't defeat a character that's able to skip any and every ability that you have. So you're gonna have to fight him using time abilities. You know what I mean?
I guess they kind of copped it out by being like, "Oh, he can't stay like that." But I'm like, "Come on, bro! If you just have the arrowhead with you at all times, you can do it whenever you want. Like, let's be honest." And I'm pretty sure that's how Giorno kind of came to power. Is that like he's like, oh, I'll keep this arrowhead with me whenever I need golden experience to go like beast mode. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just pull it out. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of a cop out to me. I was cool with golden experience just having the I could turn an object into a living thing. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
other than that, like, come on, man. Like
I
golden
did,
experience
yeah.
too much.
That's the problem with part 5 that I do have personally, because I think they didn't give Giorno enough. Like he has moments, obviously, where he was like doing like some big brain shit, but like by himself, it just feels like him versus Diavolo didn't feel like he had to really think hard to do anything. He just had, oh, I got a stand ability, I got an arrow. Oh wait, boom.
Boom.
I'm strong now.
That's it.
Like, come on, like you could have like, and he had a hold ability that they never used again, that Rocky completely forgot about in the beginning, or he could literally just like direct power back to you. Like when he fought against Koichi, right? Like he got hit with the power, and then the whole it like reverbed against a tree or something,
right?
And it hit Koichi again with the same amount of force. He could have used that against Diavolo and other villains multiple times. He could have used. Like it just he didn't. They didn't. I don't think Araki let him use his brain enough, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every other character had a chance to use their brain with their ability, because their ability wasn't enough, quote unquote, to defeat the villain. But if they were smart enough, they could do it, right?
Right. And I think that's what happens when you write an antagonist like Diavolo, where if you guys don't know, his power is literally he can cut out a piece of time and it like and just he take it out entirely. Like and it was super confusing the first time they like explained his powers, because
they kept it mysterious too.
Yeah, and like to give you like just a why it was super confusing to me was after part 4, I started part 5 and I thought it was going kind of too slow for me, so I ended up reading the manga for part 5. And so when I read that, Golden Wind, I was so confused at what King Crimson can do, what Diavolo can do. I'm like, what the hell? And so I went back and watched the anime, because I was like, I'm gonna watch the anime eventually. As soon as I finished the manga, like Golden Wind, I went back and watched the anime to be like, how does this work? And then when they explained it in the anime, it was better. But shout out to friend of the show, Augie. He also explained it to me like this: think of when you're editing a video and you take out a part of the video and you just combine the other 2 sections together, and that's an edit. That's basically what Diavolo's power is. You're editing time, if that makes sense. So I'm like, yeah, that is actually a very simple way to do it. And it's like, how do you beat that? Oh, I'm gonna just put this arrow in my head and like bring in, just make you die over and over again. Like, what?
Yeah, it was. I think my theory is that Araki, honestly, he probably got to this point and he did not realize what to do at this moment. He was like, oh shit, fuck, you gotta beat Diavolo.
Right? Like how am I gonna beat Diavolo? And I made Giorno lose like 3 of his teammates already. So
fuck it, let's make him OP.
I guess, man. But hey, now we're going to wrap it up with the queen herself, part 6, Stone Ocean's very own Jolene Cujo. I'm wearing the part 6 shirt right now. Shout out to Jolene. Very slept on JoJo. Yes. Very slept on Joestar, in my opinion. Very underrated. You can say it's because her stand ability is technically not as powerful as Giorno's, which was the previous Joestar, but whose power is it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, I think
it's fine. It's cool. It's creative. You know what I mean? I think they creatively used her stand to what it could do, and Jolene herself as a character is such a breath of fresh air, because you get like a a bland Giorno, but now you have the bombastic personality of Jolene, which is like her personality is nothing like her dad, which is Jotaro. Jolene is the daughter of Jotaro, and Jotaro's that stoic character who's just badass, where Jolene is like, I'm badass, but I'm gonna tell you I'm badass at the same time. You know what I mean? Like she has a mouth on her.
I would say that in a sense, she is, I think for me personally, she is like Jotaro in the sense where like in the beginning, when she was in the jail cell, that was like the direct reference to Jotaro. Her like in the
True.
jail cell being similar to Jotaro, where she was just kind of like, and then Araki randomly hit it with like she started masturbating in it, and it was like, okay,
That was
this is
crazy. That was
okay, this is
wild as
completely
fuck.
different.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
She is not Jotaro.
That was wild as shit. I was
It was
like,
wild.
oh, I guess we're
I was
just
like,
showing this.
oh, you're a
Okay.
freak. Okay,
Oh, okay.
got it.
Damn. All right. Shit. Fuck. I
I love,
guess.
bro. I love her and her team, her friend group. It was great as well. Like, and I feel like that really adds to like their dynamic. So fun to watch,
Mhm.
especially her FF. Was it Hermes or Hermes or something like that?
Hermes, something like that.
Hermes.
Yeah.
And then you got the kid on like
Emporio,
Emporio,
Weather Report, and
I love Weather.
Anansui,
Yeah,
the pink hair dude.
Yeah.
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 But man, let's we'll go through Weather Report too. But I want to just hammer it down on like how people say in shonen it's really hard to make a battle shonen and have good female characters. Look at JoJo's Part 6. There's
I'm saying, bro.
multiple good female characters that are
Thanks.
strong, bold, could take care of themselves. Jolene and Hermes themselves, two of the strongest women I know. They are crazy good. Crazy good, man.
Great
and it's
characters.
like, and I guarantee you, people who say, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard," like people don't know how to write women in battle shonen. You're not fucking watching JoJo's. You're not like freaking Jolene and Hermes like are literally the living proof that you can write a really good and strong, powerful, great woman / female, whatever you want to identify as character. All right, they're amazing. All right,
that's the problem, though. That for me, the issue is like you can't use Araki's writing as a benchmark. He's way too high up as a benchmark to use for other shonen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's way too up there. Like him, you can argue.
You can argue Oda with like Nami in the you know what I mean?
Hunter x Hunter as well. Like they got some good female characters in Hunter x Hunter. Kind of basic, but I think Araki's just too good.
Yeah.
To be put in that conversation. Like he's him. Like as simple as that. Like
like he is. And both of them have really good backstories and interesting character. Like they have interesting personalities. You know what I mean? Like they're not just one-off like romantic interest type characters that you would have in these other battle shonen. Literally, Jolene and Hermes are like, man, fuck these dudes, bro. What the fuck? I'm gonna beat your ass. You know what I mean?
Like what the fuck? They will fight anybody. It is so funny, especially Hermes, bro. She's hilarious.
And her backstory is tragic too. Like such a man. I felt so bad for her when they revealed her backstory. I was like, what the fuck? This is sad. But anyways, let's move on to Weather Report, and his backstory is insane. Like
him and Pucci, bro.
Yeah, so the main antagonist of this part is Pucci, Father Pucci, who is a Catholic priest, and he was saved and taught by the Dio. See how Dio just pops up in every part. Dio is everywhere. You know what I mean? Dio's everywhere, man. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, Dio is the main antagonist of part 1 and part 3. You have Dio mentioned in part 2 when they were in the cave finding the cars and all of them.
That's why they got into that's the point, right? That's the point of Dio was the reason why they even started researching this in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Was because he got the mask. He was like, what the fuck is this mask anyway?
Exactly.
So boom,
that's Dio's doing. Part 4, they mentioned Dio's arrow in part 4. That is Dio's arrow that he forged in Egypt, and that they used it to gain powers in part 4. Part 5, literally his son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally his son in part 5. You know what I mean? And
same hair.
And, honestly. And and in part 6, it's literally his student is the antagonist.
Lover. Kind of.
Well, okay.
It's weird. I don't know.
It's insinuated that they might have been lovers, but I'm just going off of what we for sure know is that he's a student. You know what I mean? And Pucci literally worships Dio as and he is doing all this in his name, which is crazy because he's a priest. You would think it'd be a different person he would do it for, but
Dio. But that's the thing, right? Dio's name is literally like it means like God or something in
Yeah.
Japanese. So like I think it makes sense
I
why
guess. Yeah.
Pucci
You
would
could say
call
that.
himself a priest. All right. But I
Mhm.
mean, he was already a priest. He just was a priest of a different denomination.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah, that's kind
yeah,
of weird, but yeah, it
right.
is what it is. Yeah. But man, the dichotomy, like when we were introduced to Weather Report, which is one of which he is a prisoner in the male wing of this
Mhm.
prison. All right.
Yep.
He has, well, like his name suggests, he has weather powers. All right, of course, Weather Report, but he doesn't know his name. He doesn't know his backstory. He doesn't know anything
Yep.
about him. He just knows that he has these powers. And in this part, revealed that White Snake, which is Pucci's stand, took away his memories. He could
Mhm.
literally take away memories and stands away from people. So
Yeah.
crazy, scary as hell. And White Snake turns into freaking, man. Made in Heaven is ridiculous. But we'll
Look,
we'll
bro.
we'll, we'll get to that in a second. But how'd you feel about when they revealed Weather Report's backstory and how he's really Pucci's like brother, right? Yeah,
I
brother.
think half brother, something like
Half
that.
brother,
Yeah.
half brother. Yeah. How'd you
Yeah.
feel about that?
Man, I was sad for him. I felt bad for him. I was like, bro, dude, like he didn't get a chance to live life, bro. He was forced into this life because Poochie wanted to be fucking delusional. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just sad, man. I feel bad for him.
Oh man. And I heard in the manga it's even worse because the gang of people that beat him up is like the KKK. Like
Sad.
in the manga, bro. I'm like, they found out this dude is half black and is like, all right, bring out the KKK. And I'm like,
Yep.
wait, whoa,
Where
what
my
the
hood at?
fuck?
Like what the
Yeah. I was like, straight up. So when I watched that part, right, I was like, what
Mhm.
the fuck? And this is
Yeah.
and this is like in modern day America. What the hell? And then so I went back and looked up like manga panels, like, oh, that's a KKK. What the fuck? Like, yo, I was
Yeah.
like, yo, that is insane, man.
Yep.
Like no chill from Araki. He's just like, all right, one way to try to kill him off. All right, KKK it is. And I'm like,
Boom.
damn, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, Araki is tuned in, bro. He knows America, bro. I genuinely think like he studies America,
Yeah,
or at least the Americas, like
right.
Latin and North. So I think it's kind of like very interesting to see his take.
I mean, clearly he loves America to an extent because he's used America as his setting for multiple parts, like part 2, part 6, and now part 7, which is like back then Western America. Like
Yeah,
he's got to love it in some way.
yeah, he does. Yeah,
But
I mean,
anyways,
the new one
oh,
didn't.
so
Well, no, sorry, no. I was thinking, no, never mind. I thought because I know there was like a rumor that JoJo Lands was going to be in Florida again, but
oh, what do you do,
no, it's
Florida again?
not.
I mean, I
No,
don't know.
he did. He's in like they're in like some random Japanese town. I forgot, but like
Yeah.
it's somewhere in Japan.
Oh well. Anyways, when it comes to part 6, right?
Yes.
Here's my thing with it, right?
Mhm.
I like that they showed that that Poochie's stand can evolve, right? Like it goes from White Snake to Sea Moon to Made in Heaven.
Wait.
What's
Set in
up?
Hawaii, actually.
Oh, that'll be
I didn't
interesting.
know that. That's
Okay,
interesting.
Jojo Lands will be in Hawaii. That'll be
It's in
interesting.
Hawaii. Yeah. I mean, I think
Okay.
there's like a couple. There's a couple volumes out already.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Oh,
Hawaii
shit.
is crazy. That's dope, bro.
Bro,
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
the most creative, like there'll be hella creative stands from that, I imagine,
Mhm.
bro. If I don't see like a pineapple stand, bro, I'll be disappointed. But anyways,
Yeah.
with Poochie stand being able to evolve, right, and the build up to that, did you think that was the right idea to kind of have his stand change and become what is Made in Heaven, which basically restarted this whole thing? What'd you think about that?
Man, I don't even know what I was thinking. I just knew I was sitting there watching this happen, and I
Mhm.
was like, the whole time, I was like, "What is going on, dude? How are we
Yeah,
going to stop this guy?" Like that was
exactly.
my biggest thing. I was like, "How are we?" Like it was already bad enough with Diavolo. How the fuck you going to do this?
Right. And here's my thing, right? Before I watched part 6, I have heard that the ending is one of the most controversial endings of a JoJo part. And I was like, okay, I was preparing myself. I was like, all right, what is this ending they're talking about? And when they revealed Made in Heaven and I saw what it was doing, I was like, oh shit. Like,
he's
and
going there.
yeah, and the fact that technically they lost.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, this is the first ever time, huge spoilers, where the Joestar family lost. Literally, Jotaro and Jolene died. The whole family bloodline dead right then and there. And the only survivor is this little kid, Emporio, that managed to get Weather Report's stand. Like that's crazy to me. And the fact that I forgot, how did he survive that that huge, like, the world just ripping apart and the time ripping apart? Do you remember how he like even survived that?
I think the only reason why Emporio survived, now I don't know, in the comments you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the way he survived was because he was already an anomaly to begin with. So it was kind of weird. So like I kind of adds to like why that's I can't honestly don't remember. I just know that he punched him in the face. He punched Puchu in the face.
Yeah,
and that was what killed him.
His ability is he manifests objects which no longer exist. So I'm guessing he just made himself non-existent, and then he basically like popped himself out in the new world that Pucci created, type shit. You know what I mean?
It's so I don't know exactly. Like I know there's like a specific, because I think my only issue with Emporio was that it didn't feel like they really focused on him enough for me to really want to care about this kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true.
I don't. They could have just killed him with the rest of the universe, and that would have been okay. Like honestly,
yeah.
But it is what it is. I think Rocky had his ideas.
It worked out in the end. You know what I mean? Like I do wish, like we learned that Emporio's mom died because of Pucci. And and I did feel for him. You know what I mean? Like Emporio was like in and out of the story, of course, and he is part of the crew. But. I really did wish they gave it to Weather Report instead of Emporio because of what he went through. And if they were going to give it to a non-Joestar, I think Weather Report would have been perfect. But hey,
or
he
FF.
ends up. Oh, true.
FF too. It would have been great to see.
FF could have been interesting because she's not even human.
Exactly.
But they're in the alternate universe where they lived out their lives. You know what I mean? How'd you feel about the hard reset though? Because I heard at that time when it came out, there were people that truly loved the reset, and there were some people that hated the reset. Like there was no in between. Like what'd you think of it?
I was like, I'll let Araki cook. I've learned enough after watching so much of JoJo's, but like whatever Araki does, I believe that whatever he makes the decision on, that his word is law. You got it, bro. I'm probably gonna like it no matter what you do. So let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be too mad at it. I actually understand why. I think because he kind of wanted to switch up the vibe, and then there was like he didn't want to keep doing the Joestar stuff. That was pretty much done at this point. Dio was gone. It's over. Like Pucci is pretty much like it pretty much took Dio's predecessor, or not predecessor, after him. He took his students to defeat the Joestars instead of actually Dio doing it, which is kind of like it's kind of like a dub for the Joestars in a way.
I feel that for sure. Oh man. So and it worked out in the end because part 7 ended up being the most popular and highly rated part out of all the JoJo's stuff. Exactly. So I'm really excited for Steel Ball Run. To fully wrap this up, is the hype real when it comes to Steel Ball Run? Does it live up to the hype? Because if you like, Steel Ball Run is the second highest rated manga of all time and is the highest rated JoJo's part of all time, as well as, if you guys, the audience, doesn't know, Steel Ball Run was the first manga where Araki wasn't at Shonen Jump. His contract with Shonen Jump, he like ended it and dipped and made Steel Ball Run, which is his first ever seinen manga, not shonen, seinen. So what should we be looking forward to? Is it peak? Is it overhyped? Like what can you say?
Man, that shit all I can say is, look, it's so good. I think like it's just you just got to just experience it to even
Mhm.
understand how good it is. Like
Mm.
it's crazy to me. I honestly, like, it just depends on how you feel about like them always being, you know, in the middle of fucking nowhere, you know, in America. You know, that's just, it just depends. It just depends. But I think for the most part, I genuinely think it's one of the best parts for a manga. Like I
Mm.
haven't, you
Okay.
know, I had to reread, I had to re-look at the manga, but like when I read it, when I looked at it, I was like, this shit's crazy, dude. Like I love this.
Yeah, low key.
Check it out.
If Araki if Araki doesn't you know, in the next month let us know that there is a Steel Ball Run anime coming out soon, I might just read the manga. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I could wait. So we'll see what
Bro,
happens.
yeah, I don't. That's the thing. It is interesting because he did leave Shonen Jump, so it that might have kind of ruptured like the David production stuff, and it kind of ruptured some things because I think David, obviously they're close with Shonen, so like Shonen Jump.
Hmm.
So I think it just depends. It just depends on what is it called, Seinen Jump or something? I forgot. Oh no, what
I
the
forgot
magazine is
what
called,
I forgot what magazine they're on, but yeah,
but
whichever seinen magazine they're on.
yeah, whatever they decide to do, I have faith that Araki knows his plan for it, you know. So we'll just see what happens. I mean, look, there's three parts already in the new universe, so like
Hmm.
they got, you know, they'll be fine. They we don't have to worry about them like, you know, spacing it out or spacing like the episodes or no filler. We ain't got to worry about filler because it's already
Exactly.
done,
It's all
right?
for
He
real.
already finished the story, so like we'll see. We'll have to
Yeah.
see.
I'm down for that. And
I'm ready.
what I actually did have one final question. Does
Hmm.
so I heard there is a new power system that he's introducing in part 7, which is spin, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. Is spin going along with stands in
Mhm.
part 7?
Yeah.
And okay, do they like completely just like don't have Hamon anymore? Like is that even like mentioned
Haman, I mean, Spin is basically just like another version
of
of
Hamon?
Haman.
Okay. It's just a
I mean,
different
but
version of it. Okay.
it's like, I mean, he won't say Haman, but it's like you understand that I'm pretty sure Araki probably wanted to bring back Haman for something, and he
Mhm.
was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna like change up the power system a little
Right.
bit." But it's basically, you know, stands plus this, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
So
you might as well, right? You already restarted the whole universe. You might as well.
yeah,
Anyways, yo, thank you, Isaiah, for coming through, man.
no
I've
problem.
always wanted to do a JoJo's video.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. This was great. I love this.
Yeah, for sure, man. And oh, plug all your stuff, man. Plug all your stuff.
If you are curious, I do a stream right now. I am in college, so I can't. My main channel is kind of dead, sadly, but I will be back. Don't worry. But I will. I am streaming at least once a week on my gaming channel, Isaiah Senku Gaming, and it's
Hmm.
pretty simple. So yeah, it's just I'll be streaming over there, probably like Rainbow Six Siege or some shit. And yeah,
All
that's
right.
that. And follow me on Twitter, Isaiah Senku.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Bet.
Everything is Isaiah Senku. That's
Okay,
like
bet.
I've
All
learned that early in
right.
life.
Yeah, to
Jeez.
make everything the same. All right. Yeah,
Yes.
bet. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. And what is your favorite JoJo part? And who is your favorite Joestar? Please let me know. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna catch you guys later. See ya.